Hello, boys and girls. This is Old Man Yells at Cloud here on a fairly late evening. Not that that'll matter too much, because I doubt anybody will be watching this live. I am working on an RPG map, which I've done a little of this before in Illustrator, and I can't remember if I posted videos or not. I probably have. Anyway, it's basically like a map of the solar system for an RPG I'm going to run, which is kind of based on the RPG is kind of based on Traveler, which is a D6 space doodad. What I'm doing now, what I originally set up here was an accurate orbit spacing. The planets aren't, and the sun isn't in scale to any of this, but the orbits kind of were. But as anybody knows, our solar system is really spread out, and everything just looks kind of far apart and empty. And I also was using smaller planets. Excuse me. I think the sun was about the size of the gas giants, so I don't know. It just looked too sparse. So I've upped the planet size. Have these cool little rings for ringed planets and orbits for moons. We'll see how that works out. I'm probably going to always willing to change my mind on stuff. But for right now, for tonight, I'm going to port in the better planet sizes I did. So, oops, here are my parts. So, for example, there's the sun, new sun size I want to use. So anyway, I'm basically just going to kind of work. Maybe occasionally comment. I have to ungroup all these. There we go, because they're all grouped together. And I might scale the large ones, but not the small ones. Let me see. All right, so let's lock. That one. Oh, excuse me. Definitely is tired. Control. Nope. That is right. Control Shift. So Mercury, or this inner orbit here, which is Mercury, you might be looking at it and being like, "That's not fucking round," and you'd be right. Eccentricity is the name for how close, well, basically how close something is to round, circular, when it comes to orbits. So, most of the planets in our solar system have an extra eccentricity close to zero, meaning round. Not perfectly round, but pretty close to round. Mercury, a little scamp, is like 0.2. And each point, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, is kind of a significant oval shaped. So, for example, over here, 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way down. And this is an exact representation, it's just kind of an idea, all the way up to like 0.9. So, Mercury is, excuse me, I don't know if it's the most eccentric orbit because Pluto is pretty crazy. It's definitely not as far as like random moons and shit orbiting like Neptune and whatnot. There's some crazy stuff going on out there. Even Jupiter. Also, they're off the planetary plane, so like, or the solar system plane is like, and there be like sideways and all fucking weird and all that. But of the planets, Mercury is the biggest or most unround. And then when you count dwarf planets like Pluto, I'm not sure. It may not be as weird as Pluto's orbit is. For those of you that might have been around for my terraforming Mars map that I'm working on, I've tested the limitations of the snap. And luckily, this isn't anywhere near it. All right, so there's this yoink, and then yoink, yoink. I don't even actually care what's over that. And then it used to be, was it Control 3? Nope. I don't remember what man, I used to have all the Illustrator stuff like memorized because I'd used that program for 20 years. And it's just as soon as I stopped using it for a couple of days, I just forgot everything about it. But there used to be a lock shortcut. I think we're going to go a little further down. This is where the design comes in. This is an RPG map, so it doesn't need to be scientifically accurate at all. But I want it to kind of allude to stuff a little bit, and then, and then it's just making it readable and pretty. Pretty. That is Mercury, eh? Right. Let's see how big the new Mercury is compared to the old Mercury. Yeah, it is bigger. Okay. So this is a cool little thing. Look at that. Those little pink orbital doodads there. And they're telling me. But it's doing it from the center of this circle. So because of the eccentricity, it's not lining up to the middle there, which is perfect. All right. So there's Mercury. Do I have the same? When I was working on Norwestcon stuff and maybe Worldcon stuff too, I would listen to music. And then I would let anybody that was watching know what sort of music I was listening to. So tonight, this late night mellow session, I'm listening to the soundtrack of Ex Machina, the film. I'm a big soundtrack guy. It's Ben Salisbury and Jeff Barrow, it looks like. I'm not sure what else they've done. I know they've done other things. Let's do a quick search here. British composer. Ex Machina was the first thing he did. And then Civil War, so this is Alex Garland's guy, because a lot of times directors kind of match up with composers. So it looks like he's done most, if not all, of Alex Garland's stuff, along with Jeff Barrow. Ex Machina, Annihilation. Oh yeah, Annihilation is awesome. I'm reading the second book in that series right now. The movie is kind of like an adventure that takes place in the same universe. Like, it's not a very faithful adaptation, sort of, except spiritually, I guess, for lack of a better word. Dev's miniseries, which I didn't watch, Men, which I haven't seen yet, and Civil War, which I haven't seen yet. All with Jeff Barrow. Looks like everything he does with Jeff Barrow, so that's cool. And then Constellation, which... Alright. Looks like a TV series. Archive 81, horror TV series. Loose. Thriller. Hannah. Oh, that Hannah's based on that movie, I bet. Yeah. And then Free Fire. I did see Free Fire actually. That was surprisingly interesting. It does star Arnie Hammer, who turned out to be somewhat problematic. I was trying to just see if my window was open, why that dog was barking. But yeah, it's Free Fire is pretty entertaining, I will say. All right, so 10 for that. Oh, nope. Do not want. All right, so I don't need to line up. These don't need to match perfectly. Let's go in. This is outer. Okay. Some of the planets, some of the larger planets, I have the ring facing in, so the line of the object, boundary line, and the border goes inside. So like the actual boundary. But these smaller ones, the actual boundary of the object is here, and the stroke is on the outside of it. Anyway. So that's the boundary line for this. Or no. That's the boundary line for this. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. That seems okay. What are we at here? 229. Yoink. So let's go to about 100%. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and Mercury in this world is forbidden. Which I probably need to have. Oh, I know what I need to have. I need to have the little circle. All right, so this needs to go on the planet parts page. There we go. And then I need to create the whole like line with the thing through it thing. So let's just do that. Go. See if I can save myself a million steps here. I can. That is awesome. All right. That's weird. All right. 60.6. Let's try. I should have had the little make them the same size button clicked on. There we go. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's close enough. All right, and then there's a slash. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. Is this a separate object? But it is. Yeah, it's a separate object. Okay. So we do this and that. Caution. It's a little weird that it's bigger than the planet. That's better. Okie dokie. So that's 10. So let's go 10 here. That's right. Nice. Nope. Okay. So, little series. All right. So, Venus does not have moons. eccentricity of Pluto is 2 or 0.24. Mercury is 0.2 and 0 and some change. So for my purposes anyway, it's going to be the same. That. Something like that. Oh, I know what I can do. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. There's a drag rotation. Hmm. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, let's go. Cool. It's supposed to be an ad in the context. Oh, I see. full selection. I don't have that. So, all right, well, let's just leave the rotation for now. Okay, and then we want Luna. Let's see here. Is that Mercury? That's Luna. Okay. Doesn't seem any bigger than the one that I got here. Is that correct? This is Mercury sized. That is Luna sized. Okay. And that is 10. Okay, so then Luna. Now you're going to wonder where Deimos and Phobos are, which is Mars's moon. But we're not going to. Interesting. Not showing those. Not showing those. Basically, I'm going to set this up in Foundry, and there's going to be rollovers. And I'm only showing stuff that's been colonized. Mars has been colonized and therefore gets its own entry. Luna has been colonized. Mercury, well, you can't go there. Venus, all of it colonized. All of these moons of Jupiter colonized. Okay, let's see. Jupiter. $14 and $10. That's it, right? I'm not doing any fanciful. Yeah. So that's 14. Jupiter. These are all 10. so if Luna is the smallest, 30, right? Excuse me. All right, so I had a little chart here somewhere. Yep, there it is. Tiny, tiny little planet. All right, so Amalthea. Luna, Mercury. Okay. So Luna sized. All right. So let's go with Ganymede. There's Ganymede on my little chart. Ganymede is fucking huge. Mercury sized. Callisto. Callisto also. Pretty good sized. Europa. Europa is in between. No, it's moon sized. So these were Mercury sized, right? Yeah. Callisto, Ganymede, Titan we don't have on here right now. So Europa is moon sized, which is this one. Amalthea, okay, and then Tani. Oh, and then Io. Io is also moon sized. Let's do that. Looks like 10, but is in fact Io. And in Ceres, it's not on here. But I do want to keep track of it for now, so let's see. Ceres is tiny. So let's do that. Okay. Jupiter. My music may be dead. That was fun. All right, we're going to do a little Tron Legacy, which I don't like the Tron movies. I didn't even like the original one. When I was a kid. I mean, I think I saw it a couple of times because I liked David Warner because I'd seen him in that H.G. Wells movie where he was Jack the Ripper. What was that called? Can't remember now. Malcolm McDowell, David Warner, Time After Time. But Tron is the movie. Did not like the original. Didn't really get the legacy either. Especially when the bikes were like doing curvy stuff, like they were trying to make them look more three dimensional, but they were making them look less three dimensional because they didn't turn at 90-degree angles. They looked less fantastical somehow. So, yep, got that. All right, so Amalthea. Cool, cool. Then Io is the closest. And then Europa. And Ganymede. We're going to do a bunch of asteroid belt stuff too. So I'll figure that out. All right, we have reached the end of this short, quiet session. Thank you for joining me. Check out Blue Powder Monkey's Patreon for all of our shenanigans. Obviously, like and subscribe if you want to stay notified of when I come on to work. I don't use Twitch that much because Twitch seems to be mostly for sort of gaming stuff. So there you go. And if you have any questions, for whatever reason, leave a comment and eventually I will find it. Or maybe YouTube will inform me of it. Anyway, have a good night.